Tragedy can strike at any time, and in the world of sports, it's becoming all too common in this day and age. But at the junior hockey level, words cannot express how difficult that can be. I had the opportunity to follow along the Brooks Bandits Hockey Club as they turned tragedy into triumph. This is the Nick Crosby story. Brooks, Alberta, the Centennial City, 186 kilometers south of Calgary on the Trans-Canada Highway in the county of Newell. Boasting an ethnically diverse population of just under 14,000 people and home to the Alberta Junior Hockey League's Bandits since 2000-2001. A franchise that proudly developed Calgary Flame sniper Curtis Glencross, and a franchise that reached triumph from tragedy after the loss of a teammate on July 5th, 2011. This is the story of Bob and Wendy Crosby, two American hockey fans from Southern Ontario with two teenage boys, and their journey through the door that no hockey parent ever wants to open. The tragic loss of their son Nick in a car accident.
You always hear it's a parent's worst nightmare. And it is.
My best friend and roommate. I mean, he's a guy you could count on for anything. You ever needed a ride, ever needed help, he was there.
Yeah, we were pretty close friends. He was a great guy in the room. Everyone was. Would probably consider him one of their best buddies, I guess.
It's a tragedy that it's occurred, but when it comes back that it's part of a team that you knew in the community, then it hits home.
Bandits forward Nick Crosby's vehicle went head-on with another on his way back from Banff after a spring camp in Airdrie, leaving him in a coma.
I got a phone call in the late night on the 5th from Corey Kloss, our captain, and he said that he had heard kind of through the grapevine that Nick Crosby might have been in a car accident. He said he didn't know how severe. He didn't know if he had a broken fingernail or a broken leg or what it might be. So
I'd been outside and I'd just come in the house and the phone went, and it was the president of the Bandits phoning to tell me, because he knew he had billeted at our house, phoned to tell me that Nick had had a bad accident and he was in a coma and he was on life support.
All the kids wanted to get together and go to Banff before they came home. So Matt comes over to me and he says, "Hey Dad, I think I want to go with these guys over to Banff and hang out at one of the players' parents had a house over there."
yeah, he stayed the night in Banff with Colton Semenok, and he's leaving the Semenok's house and driving by himself just about an hour and a half into his trip.
And then I meet you guys at the airport. And I said, "Matt, we leave at 6:10 in the morning. It's 3 o'clock now. By the time you get your stuff, get to Banff and get back on the road, it's crazy. It's high risk."
A very weird situation. There was a lady that was 3 cars back on the opposite side of the road that saw the accident happen. And when she saw his hockey bag, she saw that he played for the Brooks Bandits. She was actually Corey Kloss's teacher from Red Deer, from high school. So that was the only small connection that got the information back to Corey.
It's like a slow motion moment for me. I told my wife, I said, I was there.
I remember the phone call from Nick's dad, Bob, and I remember his first words. He said, "Dennis, the worst has happened." I'll never forget that.
Spent the next 6-7 hours on the phones trying to locate and find out where Nick was.
And it was, tough to take.
But it was within that day on our way there that I got a call from Bob Crosby to let me know that him and Wendy and Tom had got there. They'd seen Nick, and that was the end, that Nick had passed away.
Matt was in the car with us, and he was okay for about 15 seconds. And then he just lost it. Just broke down and started crying. I mean, just broke down.
Nick's brother Tom had been registered for elite-level soccer camps on the East Coast prior to the accident. The family went on, and Tom had to perform 5 days after his brother was killed.
And we did it. And we just decided that Nick would have wanted us to. Nick was really proud of what Tom had accomplished in that. In the meantime, everyone back at home was just unbelievably pulling things together for us. So by the time we got back, 2 weeks after, middle of July sometime, it was, the whole town had marshaled.
Nicholas Elliott Crosby died at age 19. His funeral was held on August 13th at the Sun Valley Community School gym in front of over 400 people. Teammate, billet brother, and fellow American Matt Tyson spoke on behalf of the team.
as Nick was another brother to me out of many. They're another set of parents. And
rode in the bus for 14 hours, got there late Friday night. The service was on a Saturday.
And here's the thing that was so bizarre. He didn't know that he was there maybe a day or two before everyone else was going to get there. So he got to spend time with Nick's family, his mom and dad.
By far, he would have been the hardest one hit. Shared a room on the road, real good friends.
And he would call me, he goes, Mom, I didn't realize I was here so early. And I said, well, maybe you're helping them move.
24-hour period that they were in our town, they really made an incredible impression.
And so I always thought it was kind of a blessing that Matt was there. Of all the players, ironically, a day or two early.
I would do anything for them as I'm sure they would do anything for me, which is priceless.
Bob and Wendy Crosby live in a town in central Idaho by the name of Ketchum. It's adjacent to a resort city by the name of Sun Valley. Wendy works for the local transit authority, while Bob a government liaison. Nick was the oldest of the two athletic Crosby sons. His brother Tom, 2 years younger.
Full-time sports, all the time.
Always playing some sport. Living in California, it was mostly street hockey. We had a wooden deck and neighbors that loved to participate, and they'd be out on the deck with the full-size net set up, and the deck was not very big, but a full-size net.
He was quiet, but very nice guy.
You could have asked Nick as a 6-year-old what he wanted to do, and he'd already figured that part out. You know, and that was to be in the NHL.
Big boy.
Yeah.
Every night, go to the cupboards to get a big box of cereal. And
I mean, Nick was skating around our flat in San Francisco when he was 3 in my rollerblades. And we didn't suggest that he do it, he just did it. So there was something in there for him that was all hockey.
Yeah. Nick's dream of making the NHL led him through southern Alberta. After one season playing Junior B in Banff, he signed with the Bandits, moving in with Clint Spencer and Matt Tyson. A perfect fit for the Crosby and Tyson families.
here you got a kid from Houston, Texas, and you got a kid from Idaho. Actually, his parents are really Canadians, but
the poster
Ideal. Yeah.
poster billet
Ideal
family,
billet family.
you know, it couldn't have been better for us.
Oh, that's how I can be so far away and not being up here every weekend. I can, you know, sleep peacefully. I do pray every night, but sleep peacefully knowing that Marianne's going to take care of him.
Nick Crosby's jersey number 23 he wore during his lone season with the Bandits would be a recurring theme throughout the entire year.
We wanted to do the simple things to recognize him. We wanted to have the NC23 on our helmets. We knew we were going to want to retire his jersey.
I was so apprehensive because I was putting myself in Wendy's shoes.
It was a cool night. I mean, once you've come to terms with everything that happened, you can't change it. So to honor him and to see his jersey go up.
Not only did they have to make the drive here over that area.
I was standing on the ice with Mom and Dad, both right beside me, and just to see their reactions and just for our players, I mean, it kind of came as a little bit of closure.
When I watched them watch their son's jersey raise up, and it was like an angel, and I know Wendy agreed with that.
It was a long 2 months before that game happened, but to see that and to know that he was part of our team for the whole year, and then now to know that he'll be in our rink or he'll be in our dressing room and he'll always be here for us, I think that was the part of the night that was really cool.
And they got through it, and they smiled, and they saw the love and the support of the whole community. And I knew it must have been the hardest thing in their life, but they did it, and I thought, if they can do it, the inspiration that was for the entire community.
The Bandits beat the Camrose Kodiaks by a score of 3-1 on Friday, September 16th, 2011, capping off the perfect night.
I just think after winning that first game, the home opener this year, the guys got together. I don't know who led the charge, but they ended up at center and saluted to Nick's jersey, and had nothing to do with us. It was totally all driven by the players.
I think it's fantastic the boys, they do that every game. And as you know, we've got such a good hockey team. We won just about every home game.
Going into the Fort McMurray series, I think it was Brent that found that out too, that we had 19 wins. If we could sweep another series, it was 23 in a row. And yeah, it's a lot of weird little things, and you wonder if Nick wasn't looking down on us, trying to push us along and help us all year.
Oh, it means the world to us.
it's an incredible feeling.
Pretty cool. I think right there we knew we had some pretty good leadership and a pretty special group, I guess.
The team saluted Nick's jersey 25 times during the season, compiling a franchise record 47 wins and 100 points. For anyone who's gone through the tragic loss of a close friend or family member, the healing process doesn't happen overnight.
You know, you think about that, you think about your own children when they grew up and the things that could have happened.
You know, as the little adversities hit, I think it was pretty easy. Tough to have a bad day when you have a teammate that can't play anymore.
It is a tough one. I can't imagine that kind of scenario, thinking about my own children.
What this little boy has done as far as inspiring players.
But it's not something we put to the forefront because we've talked about it enough and everybody in there knows that. It's in our brains, it's in our hearts. He's a big part of this, his family's a big part of this. And
at first we tried not to talk about it too much, and then me and Brent sat back one day and we kind of said, why won't we talk about it?
Just a matter of being there for the individual, holding their hand and letting them cry in silence. Sometimes it's letting them talk about the good times, the bad times.
You know, I'll be driving to work and I'll just have to pull over and let it go, you know, and then I'm probably good for the day.
You know, people say that it will get easier. I don't know if it will.
Rethink everything about that day, redo it, have it change, but that's not to be, so.
It was like they were the perfect people to endure something like this because they showed us that you can go on after losing a child.
Still gets phone calls and messages, and he gets texts from his friends, and it's, you know, mostly saying that they miss him, and sometimes they're telling him things, but they still are communicating, and
You left his phone active and...
it is still active. We haven't been able to turn it off.
It was an experience that better be the last time I have it. I hope it's the last time I have it.
Sadly, there are more people than you'd think who've been through this. And
you know, it took a few months before you could sit back and kind of say, hey, like, Nick's gone.
You'll see something related to Nick and just the whole, you know, enormity of the fact that he can't go after his dreams anymore, that he was working so hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really gets you.
But in storybook fashion, the Brooks Bandits beat the Fort McMurray Oil Barons in 6 games to take their first ever AJHL Interflex Cup championship.
It was incredible. I think for me, pretty tense all the way to the end, even though we had a 4-goal lead.
Absolutely, it's great. You know, lifting the trophy, getting your moment on the ice, and you know, it's all. We had a purpose and we had a goal, and
the whole time, all we were doing, everyone's putting their hands up to him, pointing up to him. It was all for him, all for him.
Brought everyone a lot closer, and even the new guys coming in kind of knew what went down, and kind of bought in that this season was dedicated to him.
The team has rallied around it, certainly from a standpoint of a human factor. That's real and raw emotion.
He's definitely looking over us all year and definitely guided us along and protected us the whole way. And yeah, guarantee he's overly happy with how we did this year.
You know, they've just had a historic season. It's been remarkable.
You're down, you're
It's that
out,
happy ending that all movies need.
Realization of a dream for him.
Unbelievable. It's testament to life. It's testament to sport.
Winning makes everything better.
Although it was a tragic situation.
Hopefully they have all grown and realized, you know, how few teams you're a part of that can have this kind of success.
Who knows what it would have been if it had been a losing season. I just thank God it was a winning season. It's just helped them go.
Tremendous sense of pride, and a little feeling that maybe Nick's along for the ride somehow, which would be really special.
You know, every day I feel bad for his family. I feel bad for our players who are his friends. But I guess the only thing we can take away is we've got a guy that's part of our team forever.
The Bandits created the Nick Crosby Memorial Scholarship for the player who best exemplifies his qualities of hard work and leadership. Matt Tyson was the inaugural recipient.
It meant so much to all of us. It was something I wish hadn't been bestowed on me almost because it's too much, but I really appreciate what they did.
The Bandits lost the Doyle Cup to the eventual national champion Penticton Vees. But the lasting memory for the 2011-2012 campaign will be about the rise from tragedy to triumph, making them everyday heroes.